Going to go for two here.
He's going for two.
If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in the position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it. It's just a heavy
All right, guys, welcome in. As you can see, things look a little different. We're following all the Ontario protocol, so we're in three different locations. You can't see Liam. I can see Liam, though. But yeah, we're here. We're doing it this way, so it's going to look like this for a little while. So good to see you guys. Unfortunately, we can't touch each other the way that we normally would before the show, but it's good that it's good that we're here. And talk to me, boys. We had a hell of a Monday night game.
Well, just because we're not in the same room doesn't mean we're not going to pick on Kalen this weekend. So that's
true. Yeah,
with that.
I agree.
We're still going to tell them that the Titans suck.
They just got to win.
Even if they win. I said even if they win, we're still going to tell you that.
AJ had a touchdown, too.
Yeah, he's still a number one receiver, too, in your eyes.
Yeah.
Number one.
I think Mike Vrabel's the coach of the year. But anyway, Browns and Ravens. Browns and Ravens.
Absolutely great game. Yeah. I'm glad to hear you say that it was a great game, even though you hate both those teams.
Oh, I had a back-end cover. That safety at the end covered the bet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a beauty.
The Lamar magic worked out for you, did it?
I even went to bed last night. Shocking, and that turned into another banger of a game in the second half.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw a message to Shane saying, I'm doing this for you, man. Have a good night.
Yeah,
that was the night before,
Sunday night. On Sunday, I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, Shane, I'm doing this for you. I love you, homie. And it didn't work out so well. Like, I was just trying to be a good co-host here.
We moved on to our 10th offensive lineman, so.
Yeah.
But let's focus on the Browns and the Ravens because they do deserve a little bit of credit for the show they put on. The outcome was what I expected. I thought that the Ravens would play hard and they would end up beating the Browns because it was a more important game for them, is what I thought at the time. Now, after looking at what the Browns have to face upcoming, that game could prove incredibly costly for the Browns to make the playoffs. Yeah,
absolutely. This was a statement game for the Browns to take an opportunity and say something. And I mean, they definitely had they were up, but Lamar Magic had to come in and save the day, of course, right?
Well, he had to get some stuff out of him first.
Yeah.
What do you guys think he was doing? Was he pooping or did he have the cramp?
Yeah. Oh no, he was bubble guts. He was all over the toilet bowl.
Do you think they IV'd him while he was shitting?
Honestly, the kind of shit that he had, it was probably the kind that you needed an IV after. We've all had them.
I remember that scene in Any Given Sunday. When the guy gets trapped in the stall, who'd give him the IV? Like, that's all I'm picturing during this whole thing.
Yeah.
For Lamar.
I think the real question is did Lamar do that? Like, did he shart with his pants on and realize it's time to go to the locker room, or did he make it in time?
Oh no, I think he sharted. He definitely sharted, bro.
Yeah, cause I was gonna say, God doesn't give with both hands, and after those couple of touchdown passes he threw, there's no way he didn't poo his pants.
Yeah.
It's almost certain.
Like, do you think he was just more embarrassed the fact that he shit himself, or that do you think that he's like, oh, I really have cramps now, or was it too late?
Yeah, I've never heard of somebody getting cramps in their arm. Yeah, I mean,
well, he's not really a quarterback anyway, so maybe it wasn't his legs, right? Maybe the calf cramped up or something.
No, they said it was in his arm.
Oh,
yeah, he said that his arm was cramping up, which, I don't know. I mean, you could imagine things that could make your arm cramp up, and playing quarterback probably isn't one of them.
Well, so talking about the Browns and the Ravens, though, do you guys think that they're on even levels? Like, is that are they either of them a playoff caliber team, really, or is this just these guys?
Both of them. Yeah.
So they are playoff caliber to make the playoffs. Do you think they actually make any noise in the playoffs, or do you think that they're just a one and done?
I think that it's going to come down to matchups, and when it comes down to it, the Browns can line up against certain teams, and
the Titans.
And this isn't a full shot at you, but I think that they can line up against certain teams, and their defense can hold pat. Where they can't is when they have to be disciplined against somebody like Lamar Jackson, or they might run into trouble against Tua, or we saw them this year run into trouble with KC. So if you have to stay disciplined in your zone, then the quarterbacks can move around a little bit and they're going to get you into trouble.
Speaking of discipline, how bad were the refs last night?
Oh, The refs all weekend. The refs all year. They've been awful.
There's no consistency at all.
I got my favorite refereeing crew this weekend, Boger. He's the worst. Jerome Boger is the worst.
If I see one more fucking 5-yard penalty that means nothing on like 3rd and 25 for a first down, I'm going to
down. Yeah, it looks like it's a slanted play. Like the bettors are in the field, they're saying, "Hey, move the ball."
It's horseshit. And like Chad and I were talking about it, and you might know a little different because I don't know, you may know the rules a little better than we do, but there was a 5-yard penalty for illegal formation. This is in the Steelers and the Bills game, and there was also a personal foul that wasn't a real personal foul. It was roughing the passer, but because it was a personal foul and the illegal formations before the snap, the illegal formation gets wiped out and they get the 15 yards anyway.
Yeah, shouldn't 2 penalties offset?
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life. I thought all penalties offset, and if there was an extra penalty, then yeah, you would add it on. There'd be 2 penalties versus 1, but
it's a 1-for-1, and you replay the down every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe the only thing that is because it's a personal foul. Maybe that's the only reason why.
So
I've seen lots of personal foul. Yeah, I mean a holding call in the offense and a personal foul would just wipe themselves out.
Yeah, was a roughing the passer call? It very well could just be that, man. You know what it is? It's just more punishment for the defense going after the quarterback, and it's the only call for that's a personal foul that's like overheld or something.
The part that blew me away is like they have these like retired refs on every channel now.
Yeah.
And anytime there's a ruling, they're like, Terry, what do you think? And they didn't do that. It was like, I think Terry's like, yo, leave me out of this. Don't bring me out of this.
Yeah, don't
like he just like sent a little text message. Hey, Chris, do not even think about calling me right now.
Yeah.
I am not responding to this.
The casual fan would be confused. And for us, I would consider us above average fans as far as like understanding what's happening on the field. And I didn't even get none of us got it, so I don't really understand how that snuck its way in there.
Mm-hmm.
But finishing off with the Ravens and the Browns, yes, they can both make the playoffs. I believe that only one of them is going to, just because of the way that the standings are going to work out.
The AFC's tough.
AFC is tough, but the Browns. I mean, right now, both of them still control their own destiny. I think that the Browns have a little bit of a more difficult schedule than the Ravens do, but all credit to the Ravens. Special thanks to Lamar Jackson for spiking the ball with 7 seconds left so that they could have that play that would lead to a safety to cover, for anybody that was a degenerate and bet on the Ravens +3.
I think they had 7 fumbles last night, didn't lose a single one. But most of it was because of that play.
Yeah, but hey, I'm happy about it.
Props picks got ruined.
Yeah. Also, if that would have been a touchdown, if the Ravens would have covered that in the end zone, I would have lost my playoff game. So it was, yeah. So it was a double whammy for me. So I loved it.
Shane's pocketbook got a little bit thicker.
Yeah, and I'm moving on to the semifinals.
Giddy up, boy.
Coming for your belt, Chad.
I'm so glad I had a bye. That's all I can say. Well, that being said, I probably would have made a couple other changes. Like I left a guy in that had COVID because I just didn't care. I wasn't playing.
Well,
but yeah, like I just don't know. Like we have a guy in our league who's I think he's just inventing points every week. And I don't think like Shane's got him this week, and
I gotta play that.
I am praying for you to win this week because there's no way like anyone's beating this guy unless his whole team just comes down with something this week or any week.
Well, yeah, I mean, never count out the team that was 2-6 and fought their way back to get to the 5 seed.
Well, I want you to win it this week, anyways, because I can't score with that guy.
I might be
coach of the
year.
Devontae Adams and Derrick Henry.
in
one team. He literally power moved his way to Devontae Adams.
Lots of trades to get there.
He traded him when he was injured, and I'm just like, I can't be mad about that, man. I respect that move.
Yeah. Now you were talking about you were on a bye week this week, and I could tell you a team that could desperately use a bye week, and it's my boys. The Steelers. They looked exhausted. As far as the game went, I think that the defense held up in the first half.
Yeah.
The offense didn't do their job, but I was talking to you before. It was even before Chad jumped on. When it comes down to teams missing starters, the only team that will never get a pass on it is the Steelers, because every other team is getting their Ravens are a JV team. Let's feel bad for them. They might win. This team, they're missing starters. Give them a pass. the Steelers were starting their 6th, 7th, and 8th linebacker with TJ Watt, and they got onto their emergency offensive lineman.
Yeah. And the Bills' right tackle, I mean, he had a good day. Or what was it, left tackle? Sorry, had a good day. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens.
I don't think so. Honestly, I like they started to double team Cam Hayward, and that's kind of when the game turned around. The first half, Cam Hayward owned it. But when it came down to it, Josh Allen was able to make more plays to Diggs, and the Steelers just couldn't get any plays because they had no time and they have no rhythm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of the things that I was reading about, around the forums and such, and we had talked briefly about it, was just, is this something that the Steelers should be worried about? Or is their offense not what it could be? We talked about Brady not being able to throw in the cold at all. Is this something that the Steelers are trending towards as Roethlisberger lost his deep bomb, and as a result of losing the deep bomb, that their offense is one-dimensional? They don't really have an incredible run game. Like, we're used to the hard-hitting Steelers run game that could back him up with play action, they could play off of, but he doesn't really have that right now. So what do you think about that? Like, now that being said, I mean, it's the Steelers. They're still a fucking great team.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't had a strong run game in probably 5 years. So, the Le'Veon Bell years were pretty good, but also remember, like, he barely played that much. And as far as offensive lines go, we've never had a top tier offensive line, but they've always been able to slot people in that were capable, and they spent money on other stuff. Now they have all their money tied up in a 38-year-old quarterback that I think has lots of football left to play. I still totally fine with him being the quarterback, but they have a lot of money tied up in him, and they're trying to utilize their resource, but there's just nothing there for him.
Yeah, well,
Randy Fichtner wants to throw screen passes, and the ESPN media wants him to run the ball, but at the end,
yeah. Well, and what doesn't really matter for you guys. You got a good defense. Defenses can carry bad offenses. They can carry average offenses. It doesn't matter. We've seen it with the Bears carrying Rex freaking Grossman to the Super Bowl. So it doesn't. You guys will be all right in the grand scheme of things. A team that I wanted to talking about defenses was the Dolphins. I was messaging you guys over the weekend. Now, granted, they did lose, and I think that what we saw there was a championship team versus a pretty young and inexperienced team in a lot of aspects. And one's going to overcome the other 9 times out of 10. But I really like watching that defense play. They fly to the ball. They had the largest sack in NFL history, I think it was, right? 30 yards, 31 yards.
Yeah, I don't know if it was NFL history, but yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was ridiculous. And Mahomes, they asked him about that after the game. He says it works in Madden all the time. Just keep running around and praying for the best. But they got hitters all over the field. You mentioned Eric Rowe. I mean, Eric Rowe was looking great for the whole game, and Xavier Howard. We talked about Stephon Gilmore being a defensive player of the year in the past, and it's unique for a corner to have that. But he's got better numbers this year so far than what Gilmore finished with. So I think that his name has got to be up there for conversation for that too. Yeah,
I mean, I don't see why not. A team like Miami is definitely getting a little bit more press because people like the story of the Dolphins. They like the idea of Tua. What Brian Flores is doing is a great story. They kind of lost the game because they lost the consistency. They started trying to do different things to trick Mahomes, and you don't have to trick him. You just have to keep him in the pocket and eliminate his crazy arm angles.
God, did he ever look like he was just pressured at all times, right? He was totally running everywhere, left, right, couldn't pick a side to go to because his pocket was completely collapsing on him. That was awesome, though, because that offensive line is a pretty strong offensive line, and the defense was throwing some pretty cool blitzes at him. Brian Flores has some unique defenses to throw at teams, for sure. Chad, you get an opportunity to watch the game?
No, I didn't watch it. I don't know what you guys are talking about, so.
It's an AFC conversation again, right?
Yeah, I was working this weekend, so I'm not going to sit here and say I watched 14 hours of football. You guys got to watch it all day. I didn't. So I got to watch what I could. That being said, I do love Patrick Mahomes, but he's getting slowly. I would say he's getting exposed, but teams now are kind of figuring out how to play them. You're leaving guys high, you're sending blitzes after him, keeping him inside, keeping him contained. You can't shoot him at the middle on him because he just run outside. It's that simple.
Yeah.
If you come from the outside at him on both ends, like you're exposing yourself for stuff underneath. But I think that's why Kelsey's having the year that he's having. But at the end of the day, I'd rather Travis Kelce have 10 catches for 90 yards on me than Tyreek go up over the top on me all day long.
Right, and I mean that's pretty much like you're even without watching the game, you're describing exactly what happened.
That one deep bomb. Like, I don't know what that safety
Yeah.
was taking 4 steps up the field. That was
Yeah,
stupid.
well, they contained him, and then they started to take chances. They didn't need to take those chances. They should have just played the defense they were playing the whole time. Make him prove that he can beat you from the pocket. Allow him to do his like 3 first downs, and then stop him around the 50 and just drive the ball back. No big deal.
Like, it's pretty much what if you like. I watched when they played Tampa, obviously, and Tyreek went off in the first half, in the first quarter. But if you watch after that, they moved the ball, but when they got into the red zone, that's where we stopped them.
Right.
The field shrunk on them, right? And they couldn't do those things. And you play back to the play underneath them, and that's when they had their trouble. They can't run the ball. I don't care what anyone says. Everybody loves Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he's nothing special. We've been saying it the whole season.
Right.
And when they get out ahead of somebody, he's not doing anything. They're not beating anybody on the ground. And when you make them play, you just got to make them play in front of you. It's that simple. And that's what teams are doing now. And like
Exactly.
Patrick Mahomes is my fantasy quarterback, and I love him. He's won me a lot of games. And I said he was going to be the MVP all year long. But right now, he's just playing like a good quarterback opposed to a high-end elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
I think what we've also realized, or what at least I've come to realize now, is that Andy Reid's offense is just never going to have a good runner. It's just the way that it works. Like going back to the Brian Westbrook years, like he had some decent years, but he was a receiving running back. That's what we know him as, right? I think Le'Veon Bell was brought there to do the same thing when they kind of realized that Hilaire wasn't going to be able to provide that aspect of the game there. So I just think Andy Reid's offense is just never going to have that, and that's totally fine, right?
I think they're literally just sitting on Le'Veon Bell to the playoffs. I think they're keeping him fresh the whole time. And I think when the playoffs and they come in, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes off the field and Le'Veon Bell goes in. You don't bring a guy in like that just to get 15 reps a game.
Just for the name, right?
Like, you don't bring him in to do 15 snaps.
No.
Right.
With his history and his way of being in the locker room, it was set out in stone. I think he already knows what his role is going to be. It's like, hey, during the season, we need you to do this. But when the playoffs come, you're my guy. You're my dog.
Right.
And you got to keep a guy like that fresh.
All due respect to Hilaire, I mean, it's not like we don't think he's a good player. We just don't think he's a good running back right now. But if you were to put Bell in the slot right now, beside Travis Kelce, that's a nightmare for defenses. Plus, you have Tyreek Hill and you have all these other guys. No, but in order to fix some of the underneath stuff, Bell and Kelce together changes it, as opposed to just Kelce. And I'm not sure Hilaire is the threat as far as the receiving option goes.
Well, he's too small. He's too short.
Yeah,
He can't run underneath the lineman. You're never going to find him. So like, he can't do those things. He can run screens, he can run swings, he can run the outside routes. But if you want to put him in the slot and run something underneath him, you're never going to find him in there. He'll get lost in the shuffle.
Right. But, another guy, it was a guy that Chad and I were actually pretty high on the guy going into the season. We actually drafted him in our dynasty league. Jalen Hurts.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think he was going to get a start. Chad told me, he's like, no, he's going to start it. He's going to get a start. He's going to get a start. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Let's fucking see what he does. And
I certainly didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that he lit the world on fire.
Sometimes I hit singles,
Yeah. Yeah, well, he's not the next Kyler Murray or anything like that, but he definitely puts a different spark into the Philly offense.
I don't know. Like, he got against a pretty strong Saints defense. Like, that is a good team on defense for sure. And and 100 yards rushing. I don't think. I think I read somewhere that something like that the Saints hadn't allowed a 100-yard rusher in many
56 games.
Yeah, and then they allowed 2 in one game. It's pretty crazy that you're able to do that. Miles Sanders hasn't played that well with Carson Wentz. They thought he was going to be the answer. Well, there's his 100-yard game there, so that looks like it's trending in the right direction. Mind you, a lot of his plays were bootleg. A lot of his plays were putting him outside the pocket, and that's fine. It can work for you. But when you get outside the pocket, things get messy, and that's where things can maybe catch up on him, and he can take a big hit by accident. You start throwing cross-body things, and things happen, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, Doug Peterson, what choice does he have? He's going to get fired keeping Carson Wentz in there, or you can go out fire going on your own way, right? So,
and when you're 11-2 without Wentz, why wouldn't you just keep doing what you're doing, right?
That's a crazy stat.
Yeah. proven that he doesn't have to have wins. And Nick Foles hasn't exactly lit the top light in the world on fire. Hasn't exactly done that himself anywhere he's gone so far, right? So he's winning with players. Just aren't winning.
Kayla was saying that Doug Peterson's 11-2 without Carson Wentz.
Oh, yeah. So there's your answer right there.
Right.
I think we found the problem.
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty simple. We found the solution here. There's a lot of I think Carson Wentz has a lot of good football ahead of him. I just don't think it's in Philly.
Oh, and I know where he's going.
He's going to go to Tennessee, right?
No.
He's going to back up Tannehill.
He's going to Indy, boys. He's going to Indy with Frank Reich. He's already played with Frankie, and that's where it's perfect for him. They need a quarterback. Noodle.
I think Jalen Hurts is the answer in Philly, and I think the fans will rally around a guy like Hurts. He's never going to be pretty. He's going to do the ugly stuff. He's going to get 80 to 100 yards. He's going to beat people up. He'll bowl people over. 150 passing, 100 yards rushing. It costs you nothing. Kind of what you were talking about last week, Shane, with the rookie quarterback kind of situation, right?
Right.
It'll buy Doug Peterson some time.
Yeah.
And if it works out, it works out. And good quarterbacks have come out of Lincoln Riley's system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the draft in a second, but the question that I have for you guys to think about is
hold on one second. Can we just say how I just saw, hi Jess, how are you? We just saw you kiss your boyfriend goodnight. No one else saw that, but I just want to make sure everybody knows that Liam gets some sometimes.
It's on mute. Shit. It looked like she was in a bear costume, but whatever. I don't know what game they're playing later.
And you guys make fun of me having a knife beside my bed, and she's dressed up as a teddy bear.
But yeah, anyway, I was going to say, if you are Philly and you have a top 10 pick, which you're very, very likely going to have, do you also consider taking another quarterback that you consider to be a franchise quarterback? Or would you try and for a couple of years and just put some pieces around Hurts and see what he can do?
I think if he goes and he gets, we got 4 weeks left?
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I think if he goes in and goes 2-2 and plays well, I think you have to build pieces around him. If he goes in and goes 1-3 and plays like dog shit, if one of those guys are there, then I think you take that flyer on one.
Yeah.
But you got to see what this kid has. You did take him early. You took him second round.
Yeah.
You can't give up on him yet, especially if he's playing decent football.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm not sure that the record that he has is going to matter as much as how he plays is going to matter, and we'll see how that goes. But if a guy like Doug Peterson gets fired, new coaching staff comes in, then he's going to be one of those unfortunate guys that just, unless it's Nick Saban or Lincoln Riley that comes in, I don't know. Sorry about your luck, Jalen. But
how
casualty of war.
Well, how ugly is to be a coach in Philly, though? You got him a Super Bowl, man. Remember that parade? Remember Kelsey's speech? And what have you done for me lately? Hey, holy crap.
Yeah, well, and that's the reactionary world that we live in. But I'm not sure that Philly's actually thinking that way. But
no, that's just media. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, complete opposite side of a guy like Doug Peterson. Chad said that Bruce Arians is going to be the coach of the year. So let's talk about the big win that happened down there in Tampa against If I Die, I Die. And I think he kind of died. I think their playoff hopes died. That's for sure.
That's it for Minnesota for sure.
Yeah, I think they're done. It was really good for me because actually one of my best friends is a Minnesota fan, and we were just kind of taking jabs at each other all day. And I always got a text from him. I didn't say a word to him, which is very unlike me. Keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But I got a text around 5:45, and it just says all it said was, "I hate you." And I was like, that's all I needed to see.
He misses our fantasy playoffs by a half game, and then you take his playoff hopes away during the first playoff weekend of fantasy.
Yeah.
Just
I was inches away from placing that bet, though. I'm not a gambling man, but you had me hard sold that they were going to that 6.5. Thank God I didn't, eh?
Man, that surprised me.
Yeah, really.
I thought we were going to win. I didn't think we'd win by as much as we did. And
frankly, you shouldn't have.
Watching the first quarter, I was like, "Well, this is gonna be a long fucking day." Tom couldn't get it going; he couldn't figure it out. But then Ronald Jones has really surprised me this year, and the way he's run the ball, he's kind of been sporadic and it's he gets a big game where he gets nothing. But that also comes back to us not sticking to running the ball.
That's what I was going to ask. So
Right.
I was kind of looking at your team. Like when you say he's sporadic or he's a like, is he even getting the chances? Like he's getting such limited carries. He's only getting like 9 carries the last game or 10 carries the last game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the best thing that happened was Leonard Fournette was a healthy scratch.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
And they gave Shady some carries, so that's kind of
Shady
nice.
kind of got into the mix a bit, and it kind of made sure that I think Ronald Jones almost needed that belief in him that I am the guy then.
Wow,
and it showed. He definitely played a lot better. Tom's got to figure out something because the timing is off with everybody.
Yeah.
And he's double clutching on a lot of throws, which I don't like. And it's like I think he is the problem. Like as much as I've been high on him, going to bat for him, I think he is the problem in Tampa. I don't think it's Bruce Arians. I don't think it's Bruce Arians' offense. And it's just not meant for a guy like Tom Brady. And their defense played a lot better than which I think they overachieved in the secondary, personally, with that receiving core.
Shut down Justin Jefferson, man. Again, obviously Thielen's a great receiver too, but like Jefferson, the year he's been having, wow, was it 3 catches for under 40 yards? Wow,
that was another one of our dynasty picks.
Oh, good for you, boy.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts,
2 years,
Justin Jefferson, and Chase Claypool.
Holy shit!
Yeah, our league hates us.
And we got KJ Hamler as a undrafted rookie. Yeah. Shit gets real out there.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it was nice to see the Bucks pick up the win because I would like to see how they perform in the playoffs, and ultimately that's what it's going to come down to right now. Like the record is what it is. The Saints have already won the division. If they haven't officially won it, like they've conceded the division.
I think they mathematically won this week.
Yeah. So
or last week. Sorry.
So I think it's good for the Bucks to get themselves healthy, get practiced up, make sure that you're game ready to walk into some playoff games because there's going to be some tough playoff environments, fans or no fans, for a warm weather team to go into a cold weather stadium, and that's what it's going to come down to.
What do you got left this year anyway? Do you have any? We
got the Falcons, right?
Yeah, the Falcons. I know that. I think we have Carolina once, and I don't know after that. I think that's like
maybe you have the Falcons twice. Have you even played the Falcons yet?
Falcons twice and Lions is what you got left over.
Yeah.
So like, and if it was any AFC teams, that sucks about like trying to get like healthy and get ready for the playoffs and everything too, because like it's all NFC, it's all important games. You can't lose a game, right? Like if you had an AFC,
we have to pretty much win our way in.
Yeah. Wow. Playoffs from here on out. That's fun for you at least, anyway.
Like that's like the one thing I will like. As much as I said, like Tom is a problem in games like that. I do trust him.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
He's done that his whole career.
Exactly.
He doesn't always. He's not always pretty, and he's not always the guy to get it done. And like other guys have done the job for him, but he does win those games. Like they won a lot of ugly games in New England with him at quarterback.
Well, right. What do you get in the playoffs? 3 games to the Super Bowl, right? So he's got to win 7 to win the Super Bowl. So we got to really see what he's made of here, Chad.
Yeah, we got to go. At the worst, we can go 6-1. Hopefully that loss comes down, not later.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, I believe that Brady's won 7 games in a row before, so that's not going to be a problem.
Sure.
But yeah, I was talking earlier. We were saying that we were going to touch on the draft a little bit. Now, Kalen's going to start posting a mock draft on the website, but. Kalen, run us through a couple things. Give us the draft order. We're not going to go all 32 teams because by then Chad's going to be asleep. So
let's say past my bedtime as it is, man.
Let's just say give us the top 5 or 7 people to talk about, look at, and then we'll keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely talk about the top 3 to hop on that right away. So obviously,
3 is perfect.
The way it's kind of lining up right now, we've got the Jets, you got the Jaguars, and you got the Bengals. So obviously Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. There's no question about that. There's no trade out happening here. I know that some people have been talking about that across some forum boards. It's absolutely asinine to think that the team is going to – they would have to get 2 times or 3 times whatever Washington traded away for getting RG3 in order to trade this pick out. So he'll be going number 1. I do think that even with the limited games that he got to play, I think Justin Fields is going to go number 2 to Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew got the opportunity to play this week against the Titans when the game was out of hand. He was brutal. He didn't show anything on the field that was going to bring the team up at all, and he just doesn't have it. The Minshew magic is over. I think the fans are quite done with him too, especially now they're looking at a 1-12 record right now so far. So he'll be going number 2. And then you've got number 3. It's lined up right now. You got Bengals at 3, and if the Bengals line up at 3, they get their franchise tackle. They got that Penei Sewell from Oregon. The guy's amazing. Oregon has had a top offensive line for quite some time now, but that tackle is going to be a standalone, like cement tackle for quite some years.
Yeah. Well, we'll stop there because I think a couple people fell asleep because you started talking about offensive linemen.
Come on.
Tackles are sexy.
It's tough when you're a franchise quarterback like Burrow and you still land in the top 5. Like nobody wants to see that. I've been through that as a Titans fan. It's tough. That's when we take.
Well, hey, I'm not even sure Burrow's going to be back next year. I think that they're still trying to figure out how to put fucking Humpty Dumpty back together there. But that knee was a dumpster. But let's talk about some fun stuff. And are we willing to call Aaron Rodgers the MVP? Yeah, I said Russell Wilson beginning of the year. I have conceded, retracted. I'm now all chips are pushed in for Aaron Rodgers.
It's funny how fickle NFL fans are, though, right? Like it was Mahomes and Rodgers playing like arm in arm, and then he has this game against the Dolphins where it's like the first rough game we've seen Mahomes had in how many, and now it's suddenly A-Rod's the MVP. Mahomes is off the question now. He just lost it because of that one bad game. He still won. Like what does he need to do, right?
No, I agree, and I've been saying Pat Mahomes the whole season as the MVP. I still think he has a chance, but Aaron Rodgers is playing out of this world. He's on a different level,
and he's still got to play the Titans, who were just letting every quarterback look like an amazing quarterback. So he's going to put up 600 yards on us, man.
Yeah, that's what helped Shane out in fantasy that week. So.
Yeah.
Except I'm gonna have to play Devontae Adams that week, so I'm not looking forward to that week.
But yeah, I mean, other than Rodgers, like maybe Mahomes or
I think those are the only two.
Yeah, I mean
that could be MVP.
Yeah,
they're never gonna give it to a defensive player,
and they're not gonna give it to your running back either. So take a deep breath over there, bite down on the pillow, and we'll let you think about it after the show.
I do have a question for you, though, Shane.
Please.
And Caitlin, I'll see as well, to chime in. I was listening to you today, and they're talking about the defensive players of the year. Right now, I would say it's got to be TJ Watt's a huge candidate for that.
Yep.
And do you think he's done enough to beat out Aaron Donald, or does Aaron Donald's just resume and total as a career put him in a different category?
I think, like, at this point, statistically, they're basically the same, and it's going to be Aaron Donald's to lose. TJ Watt has to do something big over the next 3 games to get the attention of the people that are voting. So if TJ Watt can get 4 sacks and 2 forced fumbles over the next 3 weeks, and Aaron Donald does the same, I think that it's more of a big deal that TJ Watt did it and less of a big deal that Aaron Donald did it, because that's expected from Aaron Donald. And I think it's something like that. It's going to be more fresh in the voters' mind, and it's going to go to somebody like TJ.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if like Aaron Donald's body of work is just carrying into that, because it's just like we expect, almost like when JJ was in his prime, we just expected that,
right?
And like no one expects Aaron Donald to do anything less than that now.
Right, exactly. It's like, why didn't Peyton Manning win the MVP every year?
Yeah, because he had to play Tom Brady a couple times.
Yeah, but I mean, he always had 40 touchdowns. And yeah, I mean, the guy was always statistically the best quarterback, but wasn't necessarily the guy that put their team over the hump. And yeah, I mean, right now I would say it's Aaron Donald's to lose.
Yeah, I'm saying it's Aaron Donald's to lose too. Obviously, I brought up Xavier Howard earlier, and I think that his name is going to start getting mentioned. But the last 3 games are against the Bills, the Raiders. I can't remember the last, but they're not teams that air it out a lot or make mistakes.
They got the Patriots too.
Yeah, the Pats. Yeah, so it's just not. I don't think that he's going to get the opportunity to get more interceptions. He'll have great coverage and he's going to do well, but he's not going to have the stats to show it. Unfortunately,
I don't think he plays in the market to get that vote either. Like Aaron Donald's in national spotlight all the time, and I think that's what also brings it up, because we expect him to do those things. He's in the spotlight and he always doesn't let us down. In Miami, like, you're only getting regional TV coverage, so guys on the West Coast aren't seeing what Howard's doing either.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, but I think you're counting out how big Dolphins fan nation is. Like, just Jace Ventura made people into Dolphins fans. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are Dolphins fans.
I've been riding the Dolphins like a lot this year. I've taken a lot to win a lot of games and pick'ems and stuff like that. But I just think when it comes down to that one category, he's going to give it the one left out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not bad when you're being left out next to fucking Aaron Donald. I mean, really,
right? Right, exactly. And we talked MVP. We're now in the final quarter of the season, so Coach of the Year has probably changed. I mean, we've had 14 weeks so far, so Coach of the Year has probably changed 14 times already. And who is the front runner right now? And that's an honest question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who is doing the best job with the least, because I would say that would be what makes you the Coach of the Year, right? The person that can utilize every piece of their roster and get the wins.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to be talking about utilizing every part of the roster and getting the wins, and you're looking at the Bills, I think Sean McDermott has done that. He's utilizing Josh Allen. The offense is clicking. Mind you, they got a great receiver there who's taken some weight off of Allen's shoulders. The defense, what he was brought there to do, is playing at an all-time high level. They're winning very, very important games. The only that's my AFC throw in there for like the Coach of the Year kind of thing. If I was to pick somebody from the AFC, and my NFC pick, I think, is Ron Rivera. If they can win out and get into the playoffs here, I think it's Rivera's be the Coach of the Year with all he's gone through and what they've had to deal with down in Washington.
As much as I want to say Ron Rivera for the feel-good story for the Disney movie, I think there's two guys that have done a better job than him.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
In the NFC, and the one I actually didn't expect it going into the season, but what McVay's done the second half of the season, I think it puts him in a different category. We were like ready to write the Rams off in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that division was flying, and they were like, they're not a good football team. They're underachieving, and I'd say probably since week 4, they're probably one of the best teams in football.
Since they got their dicks pounded in the dirt by Miami, pretty much they turned their season around.
So I think in the NFC, like LaFleur's done huge things in Green Bay, but I really like what McVay's doing in St. Louis, and said utilizing all of his weapons. He has barely a running game there, and those guys are getting things done, and like by committee. And the receiving core, they kind of like they don't have a true receiver, but yet they always get the job done. Those guys, as a unit, and the defense just keeps getting better and better.
They just had a bye, right? I think this past week was that the Rams?
Nobody was on bye.
Nobody was on. I was reading.
No, the Rams were on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
That's on Thursday. That's right. So they had Sunday off. So yeah, I was reading that McVay spent his Sunday on the couch watching football all weekend. And he was telling the media about it today. And when his wife walked in and said, what do you want to do or anything? He's like, nothing. This is it. You guys just like us, man. Even when he's got an off day, he just sits at home and watch football all day long.
Degenerate, eh?
Yeah. Just in a way.
Yeah.
And then in the AFC, I'm going to stick with my pick of Stefanski and Cleveland. I know Shane's going to let me up for this one because they just came off a loss. But I think just the fact it is the Browns. Like, for that just alone right there, like what he's doing with the team that is the Browns, if he gets them 10 wins, how do we not put him up in that category? Historically, they're a horrible football team.
Yeah, he'll be in the category like honorable mention.
He's changing the culture there. And so I think that would be the guy in the AFC that I'd go for there.
Yeah. Like, when it comes down to it and they list the 4 names or 5 names, however many names they pick, Stefanski's will be one of the names on it, but he'll be like Russell Wilson. Like, yeah, thanks, here's your ribbon. You didn't get a vote. But like McDermott to win the East for the first time since, 1999 or something, or 90, something like that, yeah?
Yeah, 11 straight wins, yeah.
No, like the last time they won the AFC East was...
Oh, the Bills themselves, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Flutie was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, 99, right? Like,
wow.
That's what I would think is...
Hey, Liam, can you look that up? Last time the Buffalo Bills won the AFC East.
Yeah, so I would take him, and I really like the McVay pick, but also Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur together. I mean, that's the MVP and Coach of the Year for me.
Remember when everyone said they didn't like each other?
The first 2 weeks of the season last year.
Yeah, I think they get along pretty good now.
Yeah, I think they're okay, right?
People that watch this show think that we don't like each other, so.
Is that so?
Yeah. People think that we're mean to you too, but that's
Well,
okay.
That's just
Hey, you know what's not mean? One day, someone's gonna knock on your door and give you a delicious Joe Cool's delivery pizza.
It
Oh,
won't be from us though.
Yeah.
Last time the Bills won the AFC East was 95 with a record of 10-6.
Holy shit, that was way
that
farther.
that was way before Flu.
yeah. It's 95. Wow.
Who the fuck would have been their quarterback then?
Doug Johnson? No, he was.
No, he was after that. It was Rob Johnson, but yeah,
Rob
he was.
Johnson. Yeah, he was way later. I think I saw him play actually.
Man, was Jim Kelly still the
Jim
quarterback?
Kelly.
Jim Kelly was still there.
God.
Jesus.
Wow, that's why Jim
Wow.
Kelly was tweeting out like crazy with Josh Allen love. That's wild.
Yeah, fuck.
All right. Well, there's Liam with a big fucking stat drop for us. But the last thing that I had for you guys, and then we'll pick our Thursday night game, was give me a wild card game that you're most excited to see. It doesn't have to line up right now. It could be any of the teams that are potential for wild card.
Oh shit! I don't even know how the playoffs are starting to lay out right now in the NFC. I'll have to look at that, to be honest with you. Do you know offhand, Chad?
The teams that might get in, like right now, there's obviously I think the Packers are the 1 seed right now, correct? With the Saints
the
losing.
Packers are likely going to finish as the 1 seed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then, you have the Saints, and then you're gonna have whoever wins the East, and then
Washington, the Rams and the Cardinals.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you mine while you guys are looking at the thing. So
I'm not looking at it. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head.
Yeah, I am most excited to see the Miami Dolphins play the Tennessee Titans because Kalen will not know who to root for, and it'll be fantastic.
Oh man, you hit me hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I only root for the Dolphins really because of our boy Richard, right? Like they really kind of grown and
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a really tough game for me, man. I'm really praying that the Titans have to face the Browns, and that would be a really difficult game because I don't think we could win that one. But yeah, the Dolphins game would be difficult to watch me for sure. As far as my pick, what I think I would like to see right now is it could line up. Is it that you guys would be playing the Dolphins if it was to end today? Is that that actually would be a really fun matchup. Minka getting to play his old team. He'd obviously have some things to say, but that but I think that'd be an interesting matchup to see what would happen there. Brian Flores being the kind of coach that he is. There is only a handful of coaches that when you see a player fuck up on the field and they're walking to the sideline and they cut to the coach, you can see the player like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, and it's Tomlin and it's Flores. Like Flores rips players apart. He looks like a juvie coach out there. You know what I mean?
And like for me,
what are you doing? Ripping off face masks.
I think I'd literally want to see maybe the Seahawks and the Saints could line up for a wild card game.
That'd be outstanding.
They might put up 60 points apiece in that game.
Have they had a wild card matchup since that last one when the Hawks were 7-9? So this would be the first one.
And
it was
when
the first
Marshawn
one
just launched the whole defense.
Yeah.
And had
Beastquake.
an earthquake in Seattle. So, but this one would be in New Orleans though this time. A little payback.
But I think that would just be fun to watch.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be
the
air
college
ball.
basketball score.
Yeah, air ball for sure.
Yeah, moonshots all over the place.
Don't get me fucking started. You guys just keep saying that word to get me going.
He said it. Wow, he went there.
But anyway, boys, let's pick Thursday night and let's get Chad get to bed. So we got the Chargers and the Raiders. Now, the Raiders basically their entire season is on the line for this. Now, who do you got?
Not the Raiders. The Raiders just fired their defensive coordinator because he's 58 years old and can't run a modern offense or defense. Meanwhile, John Gruden isn't running a modern offense. It's the same thing as with Gase, right? Like Gase fired the defensive coordinator when his offense wasn't even doing well. Gruden's offense isn't really doing well either, right? So I'm not picking the Raiders in this one. I'm going Herbert, taking the Chargers.
Well, I'm sure Anthony Lynn will find a way to fuck this up, so I'm going to go with the Raiders. Stay consistent all year. And I got to pick up another game here on Kalen. Why not? So I'm going to go Raiders for our boy James.
Yeah, you did well this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, I know I did.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if I updated it last night after the game, but you you might be tied with Kalen again.
I think I'm up still.
I think he's
No,
up.
I'll look.
I think he's
Anyway,
up
I
one.
don't have the standings in front of me, but I'll look for sure.
It's getting
But
cold
yeah.
out there.
I think that the Chargers can score points and the Raiders can score points, but the game means a lot more to the Raiders. So I'm also going to go with the Raiders, mostly because Chad and I are starting Derek Carr, and we need to get the big win.
I see. It's a little bit of that. Put that feng shui out there, and hopefully it comes back to you, right?
I think there's going to be lots of points scored. So, yeah, that'll be that, boys. That was a good first virtual episode. So appreciate you guys taking the time. Definitely go check out the website, and all of our links are in the bio. So check it out, and we'll see you on the weekend. Plus, we have a special show coming for college football this week, so check it out.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Later.